What's going on, everybody? Mortem here, this time bringing you a video to check out The Waylanders, an RPG that is currently in early access, though the developers describe it as being an alpha, while also being in early access. So The Waylanders is interesting. It's definitely inspired by a lot of other RPGs, and you can kind of see those elements, but it's truthfully a little difficult to nail down specifically like what the vibe is, so to speak. So in my opinion, it winds up being pretty unique, despite obviously being able to see the inspirations. Now, I do want to mention one thing at the top of this video. While the art style is a little cartoony, I do want to mention that this is, I wouldn't say mature, but expect some more mature elements. A lot of language. There's actually some nudity in a couple of the opening scenes, which I wasn't expecting, so I decided to mention that. So despite being a little cartoony, maybe caution you showing this to your younger children. Now, beyond that, let's jump into it. When you fire it up, there are a variety of difficulty options. Everything from, like story basically, to Nightmare, which is essentially an Iron Man mode where if you die, your saves get erased. Then we have character creation. Now, the races are particularly interesting to me. There's your standard human. There's a werewolf, actually. There is the half Fomorian or semi-Fomorian. Fomorians are basically Cyclopses, and half Fomorians are, of course, half. And then there are the Morians. Now, the Morians and the Fomorians are both immortal races, basically meaning that outside of being killed, they will live forever. They don't age. Now, beyond that, there are 6 classes to choose from. Those classes being Warrior, Guardian, Rogue, Ranger, Healer, or Sorcerer. And those are all pretty much what you'd expect them to be. Now, beyond that, depending on what your class and everything was, you will be able to select a background. Now, the background primarily seems to be just to give your character some motivation and like where you came from. It doesn't really seem to do anything in-game besides that just yet, but again, alpha. And there are some customization options available as well. And then you can pick your attributes. Attributes are pretty much what you'd expect them to be: strength, constitution, agility, perception, intelligence, willpower. It does tell you straight up what each one does. For instance, strength increases your resilience, constitution is health, agility gives you dodge chance, etc. So again, more or less what you'd expect them to be. Now, beyond that, without spoiling too much, the basic setup for the game is that you are on an expedition to an island, which is apparently Ireland, so semi-real world setting, I guess. And you're on a mission to this island to meet the Tuatha De Danann, which are apparently like a race of gods that just disappeared. And you arrive, the meeting apparently doesn't go very well, and the story picks off from there. So, interesting concept, I suppose. It being an alpha, some of it's a little janky, like presentation-wise, so it's hard to really give people a good feel for what the story is anyway, but that's the general gist of it. Now, the last thing I want to mention is combat. So it is real-time with pause, kind of third-person tactical, kind of reminds me of Dragon Age in that way, actually. You'll have abilities you can use down at the bottom. You can set your companion's tactics. There will be several companions involved. Something I thought was interesting, it's not in the alpha here too much, but later in the game you'll be able to pick formations, where basically you can pick several of your companions together, and they will be able to form a formation, and then that formation will get like unique attacks and stuff that they can do together, which I thought was very interesting. Haven't seen anything quite like that since Tyranny, actually, which had a slight variation of like combo abilities between different allies. But for the scope of this checkout video, that's really all I wanted to cover. Overall, I think it's very promising. It's still a little early in development, in my opinion. However, the bones are definitely there, and I'm very interested in keeping up with this title. I believe it is normally $35 to get into early access on Steam. I believe the summer sale had it down to like $23 though. So there you go, guys. There is the Waylanders, an RPG that is shaping up to be pretty promising. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please remember to like, comment, subscribe, all that YouTube jazz. But regardless of any of that, truly, just thank you so much for watching. May you wander in wisdom and have an amazing day.